What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz, Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check. You guys know the drill. You don't see my pretty, sexy face, so you know I'm not alone. This is Tackle, but this is not Spaz and OKFabe. OKFabe is on location in parts unknown, and he'll be back, I'm not really sure when. But I have somebody else. I have, as the WWE would refer to him, a suitable replacement. And we all know how loose a term that is in the wrestling.
I prefer better, but you know.
Yeah. You guys have heard me for quite a while now, pumping up the Wrestle ReCap show. I've been plugging them immensely. This gentleman has been plugging me with just about his every breath, and I appreciate it 100%. Everybody say hello to Guapo!
Hola, my friends. The Senor Guapo here.
Alright, take a couple seconds, tell them what I've already been telling them. Tell them about ReCap, tell them where they can find you on Twitter.
Well, my name is Senor Guapo. My Twitter handle is Guapo_504 because I'm from New Orleans and shit. I come from the Wrestle ReCap crew with Black Cat Feline Kristen and the Suave one, Suave. And we talk about wrestling type stuff and news, and we tell you all of our opinions. And I know sometimes they're not the best, but we get through it and we make it fun for everybody.
Wait a minute, you say your opinions aren't always popular?
Sometimes.
I don't know if you'll fit in here, man. All of my opinions are popular. Yes!
Well, you know.
Yes!
Something about,
yes!
I don't know, saying Daniel Bryan isn't the best, or Roman Reigns actually may deserve a title shot? I don't know.
Oh, careful, man. I see pitchforks and flames in the distance. I don't want to have to go to Kristen and Suave and explain to them why I'm delivering it back instead of their co-host of just a bloody luchador mask. It's not going to look good to them. It's not going to look good to the cops. It's not going to be good for me. That's going to be a lot of paperwork. So, with that being said, quick plug, I will be doing a video on Friday. There will be no fan interaction video this week because the question that I was going to ask all you guys is pretty much moot, as we will talk about later in this video. I will be doing a video for those of you that have been bugging me and harassing me and haranguing me about my opinions of Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns. I will give you my full thoughts on Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, the Royal Rumble situation, The Rock, and all the fan interaction that happened after the Rumble. I will be doing an all-encapsulating video on that, hopefully this Friday, in place of my fan interaction video. So be sure to check that out. Fan interaction will, all things being equal, be back next Friday. Anyways,
I know I'll be watching.
Fastlane is this Sunday. I gotta start with the very, very simple question. Are you excited?
I'm off of work, so I'm gonna watch it.
Oh, it's one of those.
I'm excited because it's the last pay-per-view before Mania.
It is, and they had to do something. They got rid of Elimination Chamber because Elimination Chamber, when we went down to one title, was pretty much moot. Because despite what some fans will tell you, the structure of WWE is you have the champion and the winner of the Royal Rumble, and there's your main event at WrestleMania. Chamber was good and appropriate when you had two titles and it was a little more messy. There really wasn't a reason for a Chamber anymore unless they wanted to do it to elevate the mid-card titles, which I don't think they'd be willing to do at this point. I think there's a couple things on this card that will either lead us nicely into WrestleMania or be sleeper matches on their own. There's going to be a lot of talking on this show, though. So I want to get the talking bits we expect out of the way first. On the pre-show, there are no pre-show matches announced, but we will get Heyman versus Miz, not Heyman versus Miz, Heyman on Miz TV. There's no secret.
That's going to be something interesting to watch.
It's basic. I think Paul Heyman is kind of the stand-in for Lesnar. Like we've obviously got Roman versus Bryan in the main event. And we've got Heyman there to remind us what they're fighting for, or what they're wanting to go up against. Like, you're not going to have Lesnar show up just to do a talking spot on a pay-per-view. That's why Heyman's there. I was going to say that their match is the number one contenders match. It's the only match on this card that is not an actual title match, but that's a lie because there was a match set up on SmackDown this week, which we will get to in a moment. But most of the other matches on this card are all for titles, which is nice. We have Heyman there. Heyman is going to probably get rid of The Miz in 30 seconds and just go out there and cut a great Heyman speech. Much like, if you remember Bryan and Roman Reigns being on Miz TV a little while ago, Roman Reigns basically coming to the ring and knocking out The Miz as soon as he got to the ring. I think Heyman's going to do that verbally.
Definitely, because the way Paul Heyman operates, he doesn't leave you open to discuss anything, because he's going to go in there, he's going to say what he needs to say, he's going to do it with authority and to boost what we know will be happening at WrestleMania with Brock Lesnar.
The thing I love about Paul Heyman is he can be subtle, and he doesn't have to yell or exaggerate to get his point across. It's obviously his slanted point of view, but there's not much exaggeration. What I really liked was when the Mass area got hit with that snowstorm and they weren't able to do Raw, but they had a bunch of sit-down interviews, and you had what was supposed to be an interview with Brock Lesnar, and Roman Reigns kind of sat in on it, or however that worked out, and Heyman's promo right to Roman was all about respect for Roman's family, and it was very quiet, and it was very, like, I'm going to tell you what you're in for. I'm going to be so respectful while I tell you what is going to come and kill you. Like, it's almost creepy what Paul Heyman does, but it's so fucking good. With CM Punk out of the picture, be glad that we have Heyman and Wyatt on the show.
If they told me Paul Heyman was going to be in a ring for 3 hours talking, I'd pay my money and watch it.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, basically it's going to be an average, because obviously everybody can access the preview show. This is going to be a gigantic device. It's their last-ditch effort to get anybody that didn't already care about the main event to care about the main event, to reinforce that idea that this is the last stop on the way to WrestleMania, and WrestleMania is fighting the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar, and he's going to fill that role quite well. I'm sure we're going to get a match on the pre-show.
Yeah, there has to be a match on the pre-show.
Because they're all an hour long now, aren't they?
Yeah, pretty much. Or no, the pre-show normally is about 30 minutes.
Yeah. Or maybe it was only because it was Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble, Survivor Series both had hour-long pre-shows. And this one, leading into WrestleMania, I'm sure, especially with it being the free month, they want to get as much hype behind it as possible. So they've got nothing to lose, really.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw like a New Day versus another tag team for pre-show.
Spoiler alert, only because I watch SmackDown up here in Canada, and we get it on Wednesdays. New Day and the Ascension had a pretty interesting match on SmackDown, and I will just leave the description as interesting. You guys can watch it tomorrow and let that be what it is. If we had another incarnation of that, or even if you wanted to have it 3-on-2, with the way Ascension are looking right now, the commentators are starting to turn around on that and not be laughing at the Ascension like they were when they first debuted, which is good. I'm actually, with Ascension being sort of the new toy in the toy box, I'm actually surprised Ascension isn't on this card.
I think they're not on the card only because they couldn't either get together or find a older tag team for them to basically beat up.
But if you look at Raw, and I have mixed feelings on this as it is, but we had the returning Darren Young, which what the fuck is on his face? And I'm not trying to make that as a distasteful joke, but what the fuck is on his face? You had Darren Young and Random Jobber X get destroyed by the Ascension, and they get saved by Titus O'Neil. So the one that's able to stand toe-to-toe with the Ascension is Titus O'Neil, of all people.
Yeah,
like after they just stood face to face with the NWO, face to face with the APA, beat the New Age Outlaws at the Rumble. The one that's able to save the day is Titus O'Neil.
Hey,
for reasons.
for Vince McMahon reasons.
Oh wait a minute. What month is it?
I believe it's the month of February.
Yes, it's February. Indeed. February.
You mean the month that they give us the WWE Network for free?
No. There's also something else that this month is.
So I can't put my finger on it. What is it?
Yeah, I can't put my finger on it, but maybe if, say, Big E Langston was here, he could put his finger on it.
I think Kofi Kingston might know.
Xavier Woods might know. Mark Henry might know.
Mark Henry definitely would know.
The Rock might half know. But in all seriousness, if that segment wasn't meant to build up a minor match for the show and like wasn't tailor made for that, I don't know what is. You've got the
maybe that might be our pre-show primetime players versus Ascension.
I think it's a good team in the sense that it's the prototypical like fast technical guy and strong power guy versus fast technical guy and strong power guy. Because as much as I do take shots at Darren Young because it's so fucking easy. But he is good. He's excellent in the ring. Like, I can't take away from his ring work. And Titus O'Neil, when he's got other good people to work with, is good at that bodyguard type of role. Like, almost that Diesel to his Shawn Michaels on a much smaller scale.
Right.
If they put this on as an extra match on the show, it wouldn't hurt my feelings.
I would watch it. I mean, obviously we know that it's Ascension going over.
Of course.
I'm not sure exactly how to feel about Ascension. I mean, they're coming up from NXT being the most dominant tag team in NXT, coming up to the main roster, going against jobbers and then a couple old people. And
yeah, well, the problem is who okay, and I don't mean this in terms of who's a bigger name. I don't mean this in terms of necessarily success, but who. Like, there is no, like, they came out, like, making fun of the LOD, making fun of Demolition, making fun of the Powers of Pain. There is no powerhouse team for them to prove themselves against, which is unfortunate. Like, what I would love to see, and I'm sad that these guys didn't get a push until the Ascension left, would be if Ascension were still in NXT, I would love to see a set of matches between them and Blake and Murphy.
Yes, that would be, well, they actually did go against Blake and Murphy, but...
Well, yeah, but it was probably way before they were getting pushed like they are now.
Yeah, of course.
Like, their last match was getting beaten by the Lucha Dragons, and all due respect to the Luchadors, Guapo, but they're half the size of the Ascension.
Which makes it somewhat unbelievable, but... Yeah.
I mean, Sin Cara's bigger than he looks. Yeah. But Kalisto is...
Hunico's put on some muscle.
Oh, yes, for sure, and he's a lot better Sin Cara than Botch Cara.
Yeah,
but Kalisto is just...
Kalisto's a little firecracker who jumps around the ring like nothing.
And don't get me wrong, he's fantastic at it, but the fact that these guys that literally plowed through everybody... aren't they the ones that took the tag team titles off of the Wyatt family? If I'm not mistaken?
Who,
The Ascension.
No.
No. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Fantastic. I love being wrong.
Usos took it off the Wyatts.
Usos were in NXT?
No. Oh, I don't remember that far back in NXT.
Okay, I was going to say,
I think
the Wyatts were never tag team champions in WWE.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's... I hate to do this because the Daniel Bryan fans will yell at me. Size does matter sometimes. And the last thing they did in NXT after that amazing run was get beaten by this tiny team who, as I'm going to say a million times, are great. But,
I'm sure Daniel Bryan fans will yell at you, or Seth Rollins fans will yell at you for saying that.
Yeah, but Seth Rollins is... Oh, that one almost got by me. That was good. That was clever. That was good job, my friend.
Thank you. I tried my best.
Oh, my God. Somebody online recently posted a graphic, like that Seth Rollins picture, and a picture of the Cruiserweight Championship, and it's like, not awarded to Seth, awarded to his cock. I'm like, I can't even handle this right now. But no, getting back to what I was saying, like, they lost to a small team before they left NXT. No problem. The Lucha Dragons are great. They did what they did after they left, whatever. But they brought Ascension up here with this big, powerful, dominant, like, steamroller team, and they don't have a counterpart on the main roster right now. Like, I would fully believe them destroying the Usos.
The only counterpart would be if they did reunite Luke Harper and, what's his name?
Eric Rowan.
Yeah. If they reunited the Wyatts to go against the Ascension, that would be the only counterpart to the Ascension needing someone to work with.
Problem with that being that Luke Harper's heel and Eric Rowan is on that sort of weird team, we don't like the authority.
That's the only bad part about trying to do that.
If they branch them off and let them do, like, I'm not a fan of breaking up tag teams, but, like, leave them as the Ascension, but let them have some singles matches. Have, say, Connor go up against somebody like Ryback.
Yeah.
Ryback, who's found a niche where he's not at the top of the heap anymore, he's not trying to be a title contender, where he's a big, powerful steamroller guy, and he's in that niche right now where a match where he destroys people is just fun. So what he is accepted now. Like, you know, WWE fans, we don't like those big muscle-bound guys anymore, but, you know, he kind of gets a pass because we find him fun now. He kind of falls into the sort of Mark Henry category. Mark Henry versus Connor would be good. Or Ryback versus Victor. Let them go up against WWE's well-known individual powerhouses. And then, after that, go for tag team gold after they've established themselves individually. And get rid of the fucking crotch flaps on their wrestling tights, because they just look weird. It's like Gothic Tarzan that we don't need. Anyways, we're spending a lot of time on a team that's not on this card. Moving on. Jump cut. Wait a minute. This isn't Wrestle Recap, and we're not on video, so we don't need to jump cut.
Exactly.
All due credit to Kristen's editing skills.
She's a great editor.
She's awesome. She did the bucket challenge.
She takes a little time, but...
Oh, good thing Rollins doesn't. Questionable. There's nothing to do with the Miz and Mizdow story on this card, which I believe means that's the tag team breakup story we're going to see at Mania.
I kind of hope it happens before Mania, though, because I'm kind of sick of watching...
You're hoping their match happens before Mania?
I think their match happens on Raw.
Really?
I think
they explode on Raw, and they explode on Raw. They have one like debacle match, and then they fight at Mania.
Yeah,
which is where and I'll say it right now. This is what I was going to say later on. And this was what my fan interaction video was going to be this Friday until I had something else to talk about. There's two tag team breakup stories happening in the WWE at the same time, which is kind of dangerous because when you're telling the same story twice, people kind of get bored. If we're going to get Miz and Mizdow breakup story on a pay-per-view, and we're going to get the Gold and Stardust breakup on a pay-per-view, which, spoiler alert, Gold and Stardust are fighting this Sunday, which is lame. I would rather have Miz and Mizdow's breakup on this pay-per-view and the Gold and Stardust Rhodes family story go to WrestleMania, because I think there's a lot more meaning behind that one and a lot more history.
There's more meaning because I could see Stardust winning and Goldust passing the torch down to his younger brother, because Goldust is getting up in age. He needs to... I'm not saying he needs to retire, but I'm pretty sure he's in that mindset, like, I'm getting too old for this shit.
Oh, I just mean, like, even before the match, there's a lot more that they can do with storytelling, because there's a lot more history. They were a team for a lot longer. We've seen them struggle and come back and struggle and come back and struggle and come back. We know the family history. We know Goldust's career. We have seen all the different amazing things that Cody Rhodes has done. And I'm sorry, like, whether it's a lame story or not, I don't care whether it's Bella versus Bella. There's always an intangible when it's a family story.
Yeah.
And so Golden Stardust, I would have much rather they waited the month and done this at Mania. But they're doing it at this pay-per-view, so we are probably going to get Miz versus Mizdow at Mania, which is fine if it's good. If it's lame...
He's a great performer. He knows how to work a match.
Yeah, but look at the stuff that he was doing just before he started doing the stunt double gimmick.
Hey, you cannot mess with him dressing up as Magneto.
That was terrible.
I thought it was hilarious. Me and Suave, I thought it was hilarious.
Okay. Triple H and Sting face-to-face at Fastlane. My immediate problem with this is we've had two Raws in a row where Triple H was demanding that Sting appear to confirm that he will appear at Fastlane.
Is it a match?
No.
It's just to go to appear.
They're going to confront each other.
Okay.
Basically, they're waiting until Fastlane to announce the WrestleMania match.
I'm kind of done with it already.
Yeah. Another interaction thing I did a little while ago is I don't mind the Triple H versus Sting. If they're going to do it, yes, there's a lot of historical value to it. I'm not going to take that away whatsoever. But the better option, especially because he's been involved recently, give Triple H and The Rock one final hurrah.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Like, the history tells itself, and it's right there.
They've been working each other for
Since
years,
'97,
and
since I did a little bit of the history. You actually helped me with it. Now
Yeah.
that I come to think about it, their first match was Rocky Maivia versus Hunter Hearst Helmsley for the Intercontinental Championship back in, if I'm not mistaken, 1997.
Yep.
That's an 18 year history.
Hell, they shared the main event for the first inaugural SmackDown.
Yes, they did. Video clip that you sent me.
Yeah.
The only non-pay-per-view mentioned in that video. I might have given you credit once or twice or 10 times in that video. But I think the story is right there. Sting versus Triple H will be good. I mean, I think it's funny Triple H is totally, like, ignoring the existence of TNA. Oh, WCW died and Sting just disappeared.
How do you feel about having Ric Flair come out and talk for Sting?
I think there's two guys that I know a lot of people groan about the old guys coming in just to talk to somebody about the match they're about to have, whatever. Two guys that are so good at that, so good at the, hey, look, I know you've got this match on Sunday, let me give you some fatherly advice, and that's Flair and Piper.
Mm-hmm.
Because the emotion you get, like, even when Ric Flair's being a goofball, because this is what he does, even when they're being goofballs, the emotion and the serious nature of what they're saying, they're so good at it, and they add so much. Why they're not in the company right now as managers for somebody is beyond me.
Can't take the travel.
I suppose. Like, even if you want to be somebody's guest manager for a night or something. Like, take somebody crazy like Dean Ambrose. Put him in a feud with somebody that has a manager. Like, I'm pulling this out of my ass. But if Ambrose...
Roddy Piper is
If Ambrose was facing Jack Swagger, and Zeb Coulter's in his corner causing shit, yada, yada, yada. Oh, I've got a guest manager for the night. He comes out with Piper in his corner to neutralize Zeb. Tell me that wouldn't be...
pop, yeah.
Tell me that wouldn't be golden TV.
It really would.
Remember when Cena was facing Alberto Del Rio, and Cena says, I've got my own announcer too, and he brought out Howard Finkel for the night.
Yeah.
It was great. Like, you wouldn't have to do it every week, for sure. Maybe record, like, a couple of months worth of video clips of, like, Piper sitting down with somebody, getting in their head, making them crazy, making Dean Ambrose even more crazy. I'm really on the Dean Ambrose kick with this, because I think it would really fit. But, like, just... you'd have to record them all in advance so that he wouldn't have to travel. But, like, have these little clips of, like, Piper mentoring somebody, getting in their head, making them as crazy as he used to be. You could do it. The assets are right there. And I don't know why they don't do it. But getting back to your point, I think Flair being there served a dual purpose because of his relationship with Sting and his relationship with Triple H.
Yeah.
So you feel like there's an innate honesty to everything that he would say to Triple H, but it's legitimate when Triple H starts bringing up, like, Clash of the Champions, yada yada yada. The very last Nitro, the very last match in WWE history or WCW history was Flair versus Sting.
Exactly. I mean, it's nostalgic for Flair because it's his old rival in WCW, and it's nostalgic for him with Hunter because he basically brought Hunter from the beginning up and trained him. Well, not trained him, but guided him. And I mean, you
trained
look
him
at
mentally.
the Evolution days and everything.
Yeah, Evolution was good for everybody unless your name is Batista. I mean, but no, I thought it was great. I think here's the thing though: as much as I have a bunch of problems with it, and as much as especially a young crowd who has no idea what WCW is, no idea who Sting is, and no idea what the impact of Sting is going to have a hard time getting into it. As a whole, as a match, it's going to be great. I mean, Sting, for his age, is still great in the ring. We saw what he did in TNA. When my boy Jeff Hardy was having a bit of a rough time, Sting kind of took care of him with a quick DDT, and that was the thing.
You show up to a ring drunk or high, wherever it was, Sting's not going to let you go any further.
Yeah, that was a bad night for me, I'm not going to lie. But I mean, just in general, like, even if he can't go like he did, 20 years ago or whatever, nobody's expecting him to. Triple H doesn't go like he went 20 years ago either.
Absolutely not. But Triple H has shown that even if he's with he's in the ring with somebody who he knows can't carry the entire match, he's going to put that match on his shoulders too and make sure that match goes 100% because he's not going to put on a bad match.
Right. And I would rather see this than the fantasy match that everybody wants to see. And I've said this a million times in videos, and I want to say it one more time here, just because you're a new voice on my channel, and I want to get your thoughts on it. Everybody that watched back in the Monday Night Wars days wanted to see one match. They wanted to see Sting versus Taker. And the problem with that is, and I've said it as early as last week, 15 years ago, when the Monday Night Wars were going on, we all took a snapshot in our heads right then. Man, wouldn't Sting and Taker be great? And we kept that snapshot in the back of our heads. Thing is, Sting's here now. Oh, we gotta do Sting versus Taker. What we get at WrestleMania, if we were to do that, would not be the snapshot we took 15 years ago.
No.
Sting's not who he was right now. We've seen the shape that Undertaker's in. I think it would be, and I mean, trust me, I mean this with all due respect, I think it would be really sad.
We would see someone die in the ring.
No, not even that. I just think the effort. I think the effort put forth and the way the match came off and the way we saw how even last year we saw how Taker was. I think the match would just be depressing, and I can't say it enough. I mean that with all due respect, but I don't think we're going to get that snapshot from 15 years ago. It's impossible. Yeah. So Triple H.
You said in your last video their combined age was 104. So.
I think that was Zohan that pointed that out.
Yeah.
I mean that's funny to laugh at, but at the same time, like, I have to reiterate once again, I'm saying this with all due respect.
Yeah.
So if we can't get that, there's really nobody else right now that represents the WWE as far as, like, they're trying to even make it now, WWE versus WCW, even though WCW is dead. If we're going to pick another symbol, I think Triple H is a good one.
Yeah. I completely agree with you because maybe 2-3 years ago it may have still worked, Sting versus Taker, but it still would not have been the same from the Monday Night War days where it was Sting the icon and it would have been the Undertaker the American Badass.
If we could get the Undertaker when he had his first match with Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania, I think it was at 25.
Yeah.
If we could get that Undertaker versus Sting, no problem. Anything past that, I mean, Punk versus Taker, I'm sorry, was carried by Punk.
Maybe even Taker versus Triple H the last time in that Hell in a Cell match.
Well, Hell in a Cell is a little bit easier. I mean, they put a bunch of gimmicks and a bunch of extra things into the match to cover up what everybody's... I mean, everybody, like, don't get me wrong, everybody in the ring is missing something.
Right.
But and you do a hardcore match, and it's easy to cover up whatever somebody's missing, because there's extra elements that you're paying attention to the cage, you're paying attention to the weapons, you're paying attention to the guest referee who's, like, juking and jiving in the corner. But I mean, I think that was a brilliant move on their part. And then when they go back to a match with somebody like Punk, who people appreciate for his ring work, you had one of two things that was going to happen. Either Punk was going to carry the match, or Punk was going to be a glaring highlighter on what Taker's now lacking. Right. Thankfully, it was the former, but Brock Lesnar can't do that, and Brock Lesnar ragdolled The Undertaker last year.
Yeah.
And it was sad. Those of you that have been watching my channel for a long time remember Steffi Sunshine, who used to host the No Holds Barred show with me. I went down to Mass and saw WrestleMania with her. She left and called somebody. I don't remember who she called. I watched the main event as much as it made me vomit, mostly by myself, or a great portion of it by myself.
Well, I don't know how many of your viewers watch my channel, but we've said it on a few videos. At Mania last year, one of our best friends, Alex, who is now dating the Black Cat Feline, he literally
what a lucky gentleman.
Huh?
What a lucky gentleman.
I know, right? He literally walked out of Mania.
Oh, yes.
After Taker lost. he didn't even stay around for the main event.
Didn't you say he, like, walked right out of the house?
Literally, no, we were there. We were in the Superdome.
Oh, he walked out of the arena.
The arena.
Oh, Jesus Christ. And this is a shoot, right?
Huh?
This is a shoot. Like, you're not... Like, he wasn't fucking around.
No. I'm being dead serious. He walked out of Mania. He got in a cab, or Kristen left with him because she didn't want him to pay a $50 cab ride back to wherever he was staying that night. And they left because he was so beyond pissed off about what happened. He left. He didn't even stay to the end.
Jesus Christ. Anyways, well, I'm just gonna go with how the conversation's rolling. Speaking of the Undertaker, we're all assuming that whatever is going down between Wyatt and Taker is at least going to be announced at Fastlane.
Taker will find him. He will follow the buzzards.
The promo work by fucking Bray Wyatt.
God, he's amazing.
I can't even say it in words. I've seen him interviewed on, like, non-WWE programming. He doesn't break character, like, at all. He's got that laid back, like, you know how Bray Wyatt is so laid back it seems like he's distracted all the time?
Mm-hmm.
He's like that in regular interviews.
Yeah.
It's creepy as fuck.
I've watched a few that he wasn't in character, but he's still...
Was it in the Husky Harris days?
No, it was recent. Well, it wasn't recent. It was like maybe in the last year or so before Mania last year, I think.
Oh, that's still relatively recent.
Well,
one thing I will say...
I think it was really before he got his massive pop and was
oh my God.
in with what you call it, the character.
Okay. Not that it has anything to do with Fastlane, but I'll get your opinion on something to do with Bray Wyatt while I've got you here. And because you were at WrestleMania, etc., what are your thoughts on Cena Wyatt last year at WrestleMania?
It was a good match. Unfortunately, if it wasn't for Cena being Super Cena sometimes, I honestly think that they should have given Wyatt that win. Because his pull and the way the crowd was reacting to everything...
His entrance had to be fantastic live.
It was epic. Having the band that actually performed his song there, doing that, him wearing the butcher's coat. What is that? The apron.
Yeah.
To the ring, and it was epic to watch.
And the fire dancer with the blades and shit.
Yeah.
So basically you're in the same boat as me. Other than the actual finish, you think the match was all right.
The match.
I think Wyatt looks strong in the match. Is what I'm saying. I'm saying this basically because people shit on the match. It's much like Rumble this year. People shit on the match because of the ending. And yeah, Cena wins. He's the biggest guy in the company, whether we like it or not. Cena did enough in that match that Wyatt didn't look squashed. Is my point.
Wyatt could still walk out. He could and still did walk out of Mania a massive threat.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, for the effort he put in that night, he should walk out of that place with his head held fucking high.
Yeah, and I don't know if you watched. I'm sure you did watch it, but the Raw after Mania, that next night after Mania this past year, it was right across the street from the Superdome in the Smoothie King Center. I hate the way they renamed it.
You mean the Silver Dome?
Huh?
The Silver Dome, brother.
No, the Superdome. Right. That was awesome too, because when he fucked up, we corrected him.
Oh, I know, there was a Superdome chant.
Yeah.
But I just think Wyatt coming out of WrestleMania, win or lose, is a fucking beast. And him versus Taker, because, I mean, let's face it, like, we can say all we want to do about Taker and his physical abilities at this point, but Taker's ability to tell a story and the lead up to WrestleMania will be fucking phenomenal. I think the WWE creative team, special effects team, booking team, whatever, I think they have more fun booking Undertaker than anybody else. There's no way, if you're given a creative tool like the Undertaker, you can't just sit there as a writer, as a producer, as a special effects guy, and just fucking drool.
Absolutely, because of Taker, who he is, and everything he brings to the table, it's a creative, like, dream, because it allows that creative team and the lighting and the special effects and everything to bring more to the table, because Taker allows the fans to give that suspended of disbelief because he doesn't summon lightning, but you know what? In that 5
But
seconds
that's where you want to
shut
shut your head off, and you want to be a kid again, and you just want to be
Exactly.
like, fucking yeah. Because the logical thing would be, and I heard somebody say this on actually, not that I get along much with the guy these days, but Mark Pearson, who's been around a lot longer than me, made a good point on a video many, many years ago. And it's like, yeah, A, the special effects team come into play a lot, and they get to come into their own type of thing. But B, your suspension of disbelief is gone, because if a guy can shoot lightning out of his fingers, why doesn't he just do it in the match? Like, there's that logical part of your brain. But for Undertaker, like, he's the only character left like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing, if you really think about it, nothing about The Undertaker makes sense.
No.
If you think about the character logically, and you tried to, it's to the point now where if somebody else outside of wrestling said, what is The Undertaker, what the hell would you tell them, right? Nothing about The Undertaker makes sense, but because he's been around long enough, we've seen so many different plays on The Undertaker, so many different incarnations of The Undertaker, almost like Batman, but I don't want to be corny and make that comparison. But there's been so many different incarnations of The Undertaker, nothing that you do with Undertaker at this point would be wrong.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be fantastic. I think the match will be good. Taker will give it his all. I think now that the streak isn't a factor anymore, Taker will, for whatever time he's got left, will be giving over and putting over, especially a guy like Bray Wyatt, who's cater-made to fight The Undertaker.
The only way for the match to end up correctly with Taker losing, me and Suave were talking about like our fantasy of how it will happen after the match. Wyatt's in the middle of the ring with the urn, and then lights go out, Taker's out of the ring, and his boots are left in the ring.
I don't think there's going to be anything with the urn, only because of what CM Punk did with the Ashes 2 years ago. I think they'll steer away from that. For the end of a match, though, I just want to, and we're really talking about WrestleMania when we should be talking about Fastlane. But so I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to get on to some other quick things before we start talking about the actual matches on this card. This is what I was thinking. If you got, when Bray Wyatt starts tapping his toe, when the end is coming, and when he starts tapping his toe, like just on
the back crawl.
No, not even that. Like you see when just before he does the spider walk, or just before he goes to the corner and does the corner spot, he's got that look in his where like that little. I almost want to see that twinkle in his eye, and his foot just starts twitching. Like Mankind becoming Dude Love.
Right.
Do that. Whip off the Sister Abigail on a super tired Undertaker. Sister Abigail, 1, 2, have Bray Wyatt pull the Undertaker up. And say something to the effect of, like, this is my yard now, welcome to my world, follow my buzzard, something cliche like that. Have him pick up the Undertaker and tombstone him.
I'd go with that.
There's the end of your match right there.
I would go with that because then it makes Taker look strong somewhat. Mm. Then it gives that passing of the torch to the new Phenom. I don't want to say Phenom, but the new
I don't know. The Phenom Bray Wyatt does have a ring to it.
The WWE.
The Phenom Bray Wyatt does have a ring to it.
It does.
I'm just saying, like, and again, I'm gonna go sick saying this, but I mean that with all due respect. But if you're gonna pass it on to anybody, if you were gonna lose to the streak to anybody, it should have been Punk the year before. If you're gonna pass on a legacy to anybody else, it's got to be Bray Wyatt. The only other person I could maybe see it being, if he was still heel, would be Ambrose. But Wyatt just fits.
The only problem with that is
Wyatt just fits.
It does, because Wyatt has that supernatural
He's the next
persona.
He's WWE's next creature.
Yeah. And the way his character is set up, it sets up for so much of like bringing in something else different or something else weird. And the guy knows how to work a freaking camera. He can cut a promo like nothing.
Yeah. Oh, Bray Wyatt is like entirely ahead of his time.
Yes.
But we'll talk that to death. They're going to announce either something on the pay-per-view, or it'll be the next night on Raw. Because the one problem I have, if you have too many talking segments on a pay-per-view, it feels like a long, expensive Raw.
Yeah.
But I mean, either way, we know we're going to get something special at WrestleMania.
We need the build-up to start at Fastlane for what you call Wyatt Taker. We need the promos from Taker to cut against Bray Wyatt.
Yeah. Because otherwise it doesn't make any sense that Wyatt doesn't have a match on this card.
Exactly.
And, I mean, like, you're going to set up Sting versus Triple H, and you're going to set up Wyatt versus Taker on the show, which could very effectively be done on Raw. I mean, Triple H versus Undertaker was set up on Raw, and there wasn't even a word said.
Yeah.
Anyways, enough of that. Enough of all the talking that's going to happen at Fastlane. Notable by their absence as far as matches go, I already mentioned Wyatt. Rollins isn't in a match, Ziggler isn't in a match, and this little triad of Ziggler, Ryback, Rowan aren't doing anything on the pay-per-view at all. Neither is Rollins.
I kind of hope it doesn't. I kind of hope they don't keep the triad thing going.
I will say, a couple weeks ago on SmackDown, and I know most people want to shoot me for this, the team of Ziggler and Ryback.
I liked it. I watched that match.
It has something.
It has the effect of having someone who's a big guy who can work, well, slightly work, and somebody who knows his way around the ring and sells like a freaking, like there's no tomorrow.
I just, there's something, I wouldn't want them to be a team for a long time because Ziggler needs to be in the main event picture, but as a little stop off in his career,
yeah.
Like, look at the other partners they've tried to put him with. They put him with Big E, which was blah. I mean, Big E got to debut at WrestleMania, which is pretty badass for him. They put him with Swagger, which, I mean, there's a lot of ability in that team, but they never really went anywhere. They put him with AJ as a girlfriend type thing that was kind of cool because they were both champions at the same time. Putting him with Ryback, because like I say, Ziggler's fun to watch because he's like a friggin' crash test dummy. And Ryback's almost the opposite of that. He's like that stone pillar that can't be moved. So I think as a team, the dichotomy between that team would be amazing. Those two destroying the Usos would make me smile a lot.
Yeah, because the Usos are slightly becoming the John Cena's of the tag division.
You took the words right out of my mouth. So we'll talk about this first. Spoiler from SmackDown. We've already talked about it anyways. Golden Stardust is happening on this pay-per-view, hopefully carrying on into WrestleMania, but I think they jumped the shark a little bit. Thoughts on the match?
I think it's going to be a great work match because Stardust, I want to say Cody Rhodes,
he'll get mad and hiss at you.
Huh?
He'll give you a big hug and your chest will be purple.
But I think that it's going to be great because both of them know how they work with each other, so it can only show as a purpose of being a great match.
Yeah. I mean, as I said before, there's something sort of innate in a family storyline. Like, even though they were played off as two separate characters for years, we know who their dad is. We've now seen the emotional toll it's taken on the dad. I'm not going to say that this is Jeff versus Matt Hardy levels, but I do expect
far from a long shot.
Yeah, I do expect this to be a great match. Goldust doesn't age. Let's be real. And Stardust...
He's only gotten better with his age, really.
Oh, for sure. I mean, well, let's see, like, over the course of his career, how many issues has he had, though?
A few.
Yeah. And, I mean, Stardust, Cody Rhodes, whatever you want to say, give Cody Rhodes any gimmick that on anybody else would have failed miserably. Like, you heard Triple H say in his podcast with Steve Austin, you know, we gave The Undertaker to Mark Calloway, and The Undertaker on anybody else would have failed. It goes to my point earlier. You can't really explain what The Undertaker is. They gave it to Mark Calloway. He made it awesome. Cody Rhodes, like, from the dashing gimmick to the deranged guy with the clear mask gimmick to, you know, the
porn stash.
Porn stash, yeah.
Can't forget about the porn stash.
To the Brotherhood, to Stardust, to back when he was in Legacy, back when he was in Priceless. He's gone through so many... Oh, when he was The Chosen Ones with Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
Like, he's gone through... And there's not a single one, as bad or as good as it was, that he didn't embrace 110%. And the thing is, and I've said this before, with something like this. With something like Stardust, you have to enjoy it. Because with something like Stardust, if the star isn't enjoying it, it's going to fail. Like
Absolutely.
you can tell he's having fun with this gimmick. Like it's something that he's sunk his teeth into. He's given the little idiosyncrasies, like the hissing, like the way he moves around, like the way he almost has like a body tick when he's talking. Like he's worked in the different face paints, the contacts, the way he moves with his brother when they do the entrance. And I mean, they're not identical by any stretch of the imagination, but they work well together. They've gotten over that point and still look very much like a team.
Yeah, they know their limitations and where they can what they can do, both of them, and they're perfect because they know the limitation of, okay, Goldust is a little bit bigger of a guy, but he moves like regular cruiserweight.
And vice versa. Cody isn't the biggest guy in the world, but he still does what he does with impact. But both of them, I mean, Goldust for a long-ass time now, but Stardust now too. It's not, Cody Rhodes is getting his Stardust costume on. It's Stardust is getting ready to go to the ring. Like, right. there's a mentality there. And I don't want to, like, obviously I don't want to speak for what's going on in these guys' heads, because I'm not like most of the YWC. But you get that feeling, and it's like Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose is crazy.
Just a little bit.
But legitimately, and he's the kind of crazy that's fun. And if you're not having fun with it, it will show. It will show more than if you try a move and you botched. It will show more than if you flub a line in a promo. If you're not into it, if you're not enjoying it, especially with a gimmicked character or a gimmicked scenario like this, it will fall flat on its face, no matter how good the potential is. And Cody Rhodes has taken it literally, and I'm going to be cliche here, he's taken it to the stars.
You see, me and Suave, we have a little inside joke, or I guess you could call it an inside joke between us about, we have the feeling that Cody Rhodes is going to take up the weird character of Goldust is basically gimmick, but he's going to take it to that level that Goldust used to be back in the Attitude Era. Maybe not the whole wig and cross-dressing thing, but...
Yeah, we don't need the artist formerly known as Stardust.
Correct. But
get some butch-looking chick shave half of her head, she'll be the next Luna Vachon.
But our running joke between us is that his quest for the Cosmic Key isn't for, like, the IC or the United States title. It's for the Divas title.
Oh, no. You know that at one point, when they were doing, like, the cross-dressing and all that sort of thing, Vince McMahon offered Goldust money to temporarily get breast implants?
I would not be surprised.
Yeah, that's asking to give a lot to the company.
It's a little bit too much. I mean, yeah, you can play with yourself a little easier, but come on.
Oh my god. Just sit there and do jumping jacks all day. Everything's flopping around. I got titties and I still got a bigger dick than Rollins. Anyway.
Oh, damn.
Okay, I don't know how this match is going to go. I want this to be a no contest, so we get it again at Mania.
Yeah.
But what are you predicting?
Some sort of interference, maybe by,
Dusty?
Maybe Dusty comes out and distracts Stardust, or I don't know, something like that.
Yeah. I don't want there to be a winner. If there's a winner, I'm going to say Stardust. If you gun to your head, you have to pick a winner, who do you think... If there had to be a winner, who would you want to win? Who do you think's going to win?
Stardust.
Both ways?
Both ways.
All right.
Because...
So after all this, after all the talking that we've done, we've discussed one match.
Hey, we're moving up. We're getting somewhere.
We're moving on up. It is that month. I still can't quite put my finger on it. Maybe Alicia Fox or Cameron or Naomi.
Something like that, maybe. One of them has to know.
I just don't know. Maybe Deluxe Man. Anyways, moving on. The Usos versus Cesaro and Tyson Kidd, or as I've called them, the new and improved Hart Dynasty.
Nice.
Um,
Don't you mean the Masters of the Universe?
oh my god, or the Brass Ring Club,
The Brass Ring Club,
oh
exactly.
my fucking god, YWC, calm your shit. When they get a name, they get a name. I do find it kind of weird when you have a tag team and they don't have a name, so you just, obviously they're just announced as their names. When one person...
like the Masters of the Universe, though. If that's what their thing's gonna be.
Yeah, but WWE is going to be, like, corny with it then. They'd be Masters of the WWE Universe. I don't know.
Yeah,
What I find weird, and this is just, like, the nittiest of nitpicks, because I love this team, I always find it weird when there's somebody that has a full name and somebody that only has one name.
Just call them Catfax.
Oh my god. Catfax. Or what was it? What was somebody said a little while ago? The Swinging Cats.
The Swinging Cats.
Oh my god. But it's the same as, like, Dolph Ziggler and Ryback, Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. Take nothing away from the team. I love the team, but I wish he was still Antonio Cesaro.
I mean, what about what was it? Suave said if whenever Finn Balor comes up, him and Ziggler have a tag team, they're gonna be Team Dolphin.
Oh no, that's horrible.
I would laugh.
Joey Styles marries AJ Lee. She becomes AJ Styles. Anyways, enough of that. Oh shit. They have to win.
Yeah.
I mean,
is it for the title or is it just a regular match? Oh, it is for the title.
It is for the titles. The women are going to be there. Total Divas. But they have to win. I feel like I've said this 100 times in this video. All due respect to the Usos. They're a fun team. They're an athletic as hell team.
One of them looks way too into that intro, though, than the other.
Oh, my God, yeah. Well, you know what? But then again, though, the teams and whatever that have that sort of interactive type of intro. I mean, look at Soft in NXT. Look at the New Age Outlaws. Look at even R-Truth to a lesser extent. Look at Fandango when the Fandangoing was going on. Like,
but everybody is into Enzo and Cass's entrance in NXT. But then again, it's more of a smarky crowd at NXT.
Well, it is, but even the Outlaws these days. Like, I've watched old pay-per-views where if you listen faintly, the crowd during the match is saying the whole bit, like the whole, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, like
children of all ages,
like right to the suck it, and they're not going along with Road Dogg. They're just doing it while the match is going on.
Yeah.
It took somebody pointing it out to me, and I went back to a couple of old matches, and it's definitely there. The thing is, there's a difference between that, and it's like, you know, when Heyman came out and people started saying it with him, you know, the one behind the one in 2020. But whereas the Usos have the opposite type of fan reaction where they say, like, it's a call and answer type thing.
Yeah.
Like the like the what's up.
Or
and all that
the New Day, do it for the day, I ain't gonna do it.
I ain't gonna do it for the day. I love the New Day. I think it's a great gimmick. It's amusing as hell.
New Day knows what's up with this month.
Oh, yeah, they do. They know 3 times as much what's going on this month. And a hell of a lot more than Raw.
R-Truth knows the truth about this month.
Oh my, this is gonna be a thing. I can tell.
So tell me, Spaz.
Hmm?
Who do you think's gonna walk out tag team champions?
Every part of me says Cesaro and Kidd have to win, but WWE loves the Usos the past little while, and I get it. They're appealing. They've got a great fan reaction. They're fun. They're great for the kids, and I know that's a bit cliche these days. They are everything you want an entertaining tag team champions team to be. I want to say that the WWE knows that Cesaro and Kidd should win, but I'm not confident in that. I'm pretty sure the Usos will win, dumb as it is. I want Cesaro and Kidd to win. How about you?
Kind of the same, but I feel like they may give it to Cesaro and Kidd, only because then it allows them to set up for a Mania match for the titles again.
I hate to be cliche because I know, like, it seems to be a cliche that there's multi-team matches at Mania, but I feel like there has to be more than 2 teams involved at Mania.
Yeah.
The one thing that bothers me about this match, and it has nothing to do with Cesaro, because Cesaro's a fucking beast.
He can't talk in a mic?
No, no, this isn't a bad thing about Cesaro at all. Why did it take taking Tyson Kidd away from Gabriel and putting him with somebody else for him to get a main stage push? I will never understand why they put together the team of Kidd and Gabriel, as amazing as they were, and the chemistry they had was off the charts, and never did anything with them. Gabriel was the bunny.
Yeah.
You know how sad that is?
It's pretty. I heard something that said that Sami Zayn was the bunny at one of the shows or something before.
Before he made his awesome entrance at the NXT R Evolution pay-per-view, originally they were going to debut Finn Balor as the revealed bunny.
Oh God, no.
Like, he was going to come out as the bunny, and then he was going to attack Adam Rose, and that's how he was going to make his debut on Raw.
That would have hurt a little bit.
That would have hurt so much. I'm sorry, like, go back to even Rival. I'm assuming you saw Rival.
Yeah, of course I watched Rival.
Now, just take a snapshot of Finn Balor's entrance.
Yeah.
Now, transplant it, WrestleMania.
It would take an hour.
He will be the next Undertaker as far as long entrances.
No,
oh my
sure.
God, Bray Wyatt versus Finn Balor at WrestleMania.
I would pay my money.
Just sit back and think about that one. Think about the possibilities.
Yeah. It would be amazing. What match was it? Me and Suave were talking about a match today with Kevin Owens versus Wyatt.
That would be good. If the rumors about Samoa Joe are true, I'd rather see Owens versus Joe.
Yeah, that would be fun to watch. Because both of them, I think they've wrestled in ROH. I think they've been together in ROH a few times.
Owens versus Joe. 30-minute Iron Man submission match on the WrestleMania pre-show.
Yeah, I'd watch it.
More people would watch the pre-show than WrestleMania.
That was something. It was like the Matrix. Take the green pill for this. Take the red pill for this.
God.
Take the green pill if you want Sting at WrestleMania, or take the red pill if you want to watch the NXT title defended at WrestleMania.
Apparently, they're thinking about that this year.
But do you just put Finn Balor versus Owens for Mania, or do you throw Sami Zayn in that mix with it?
Finn Balor versus Owens
versus Sami Zayn.
Versus Zayn versus Neville. Just do it.
No, leave Neville out of it. Throw Kenta. Throw Hideo. It was still the show.
What was the match? What was the match they had? It was a 5-person match.
For NXT?
No, there was a type of match they made up for a pay-per-view a couple years ago. And it was 5 people in the match. They all came in at different times. And whoever had the final pin after 20 minutes was the champion. Oh.
I can't remember that one.
Championship Scramble.
That's what it was, yeah.
Can you imagine Owens, Zayn, Neville, Kenta, and who's the other one?
Finn Balor.
Finn Balor. In a championship scramble for the NXT title at WrestleMania. Bray Wyatt's the referee.
Bray Wyatt's the referee.
For reasons.
Okay, if you're doing that, then Bo Dallas has to be in the mix.
No. I believe you are wrong.
Oh, why you gotta mess with Bray Wyatt's little brother?
Because that's all he is.
And that's all he will ever be, because he will never Bo-leave again.
Oh no. He looks like somebody taped have you seen recent pictures of him? He looks like he's been taking facial hair lessons from Darren Young.
Oh God, I have not seen any of those pictures, but probably shouldn't look them up.
We're gonna go look. He looks like more of a creeper than before. It's weird. Anyways, moving on to something that's a little less creepy and a little bit more. Paige versus Nikki for the Divas Championship.
Paige.
Of course.
Just Paige.
Do it, Paige. Bring back AJ in time for Mania. There's your Mania match right there.
I think so, but
build up the story of their feud from the day after WrestleMania last year. Throw on a highlight package. Tell people the match is happening. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, because AJ and Paige sell that match just by itself.
You know what I wouldn't mind, though, because we were talking about family stories and whatnot. If they were going to have more than one Divas match at WrestleMania, yeah, I know, unheard of, have it so that Brie tries to help Nikki retain the title. Brie fucks up, ends up costing Nikki the title. Mid-card Divas feud at WrestleMania, Bella versus Bella. Get it over with. I think the match will be better than most people give it credit for. I'm not saying it will steal the show. I'm fully admitting that. But I think it will surprise a lot of people.
It'll be a good piss break.
Oh, that's not nice.
I know, I'm sorry. But
no, Daniel Bryan winning the title will be the piss break. Anyway.
We all have our own piss breaks here, Spaz.
Okay. So, I'm going with Paige, you're going with Paige. I don't see any reason WWE needs to keep it on Nikki at this point, because it's going stale.
The only thing why
they teased us with Naked Paige on Raw.
Huh?
They teased us with Naked Paige on Raw. That wasn't nice.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Just saying. If WWE ever breaks their PG barrier and starts doing deals with Playboy again, oh Lord.
Yeah.
Paige.
What was
all the Paige.
Me and Suave were okay with it. Kristen didn't like it. I said, just
she's lying. She liked it.
Match and make everyone happy.
She's lying. She liked it.
She was okay with it.
I think we do a friggin' what do you call it? Ice Bucket Challenge Women's Battle Royal. Come on, you can't be mad at that. It's for charity.
It is for charity. Did you notice the chick that she took the outfit from, or where the costume from?
Mm-hmm.
It was blue pants.
Oh, was it?
It was blue pants.
I love the blue. Did you see? You saw NXT tonight?
Yeah, I watched it tonight.
I love that they took friggin' Enzo and Cass's comedy bit and made it her entrance music.
Yeah.
Here's blue, and you see the graphic, and it's like, no, but when you see the graphic before the match, it's like Sasha Banks versus Blue Pants.
Yeah.
Like, come on. She's actually pretty good. So.
She was pretty good in the ring.
The 4-way Divas match at Rival. I mean, come on.
It set the bar for what a Divas match needs to be in WWE.
Yeah.
But the difference is they're not divas. They're women. They're women wrestlers in NXT because it's a women's championship.
That is the funny thing, though, because it is the NXT Women's Championship. But if you hear them talk, they still talk of them as the NXT Divas.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like they're almost on a good thing there, but not.
Well, I can take them talking about them as the divas. But when it regards to the championship, it needs to be a women's championship, not even
if you wanted to go with the title Divas, like, you really punch it in the gut when you make the belt a butterfly.
Yeah.
I mean, I have, I don't know if you play a lot of wrestling games, but I have WWE 2K15.
Yes.
And there's millions of belts in the history of the game, and you can use whatever, and it still treats Raw and SmackDown like separate brands. So I have it, like, all the good titles are on Raw, like the WWE, the Intercontinental, the proper tag team titles from back in the day, and the women's championship.
Not the penny belts.
I don't mind the penny belts. I like the logic behind the penny belts, but I like the ones from back in the day, like the ones that Outlaws and the Outlaws and the friggin' LOD used to fight over, those belts. The ones that were just friggin' huge and massive. They weren't square, they weren't round, they were kind of like that middle ground.
Yeah.
And they were just bigger. I like the idea of the penny belts only because what's on the face of the title? It's two gladiators. What are tag team champions? Two gladiators. I like the penny belts in theory. I think they look kind of badass. It's just the fact that they're like brass.
If they were gold or
even if they were silver.
Yeah, even if they were silver, it would look better. But
I'm all in favor of all the mid-card titles being silver and the only gold title being the world title. I think there's a lot of symbolism that they really missed the point on there.
But I like the IC title the way it looks right now, though.
For sure. But it's just like if they're going to go on, if I don't think they should change anything, but if they go and change belts, I like the idea of all the mid-card titles being silver to some degree and the world title being gold because, like I say, there's symbolism there. Like if we still had the European title, which we never ever will, I would make that bronze because it was clearly the third-party title. But, I mean, like, when I set up my titles, all the proper WWE titles are on Raw, and all the NXT titles are on SmackDown. Like, so it's the proper NXT... So what I have is I have WWE Women's Champion versus NXT Women's Champion. And I had to create... There has to be a mid-card title, so it's the NXT titles, and the mid-card is the the network title.
No.
Okay, so we talked the hell out of the Divas match. Paige wins all the way around. Bad News Barrett versus Dean Ambrose. I want to know your thoughts on this one.
Dean Ambrose.
Dean Ambrose, for sure.
The titty master, freaking unstable Ambrose. It's going to be a good match because of the way Dean Ambrose works, and I always want to say Wyatt when I say Barrett, but Barrett is good in ring. He can work a match, but
they ruined him again.
Yeah.
Like he was getting over with the Bad News gimmick thing, and then they're doing this weird TMZ spin-off.
BNB or whatever.
The Bad News Zone.
Yeah,
and it's
BNB.
just like, no. Because we know you're in constant contact with TMZ. You even make the letters look like the TMZ logo a bit there. Like, you took away his catch, the whole, like, I'm afraid I've got some bad news, whatever. You finally found something that, like, Barrett struggled for a long time to find a gimmick that worked and that resonated with people. Much like, I'm going to compare him to Ryback in the sense that Barrett got over once the fans started having fun with him. Same thing with Ryback. And they were having fun with the Bad News gimmick, and then they had to make such an obvious dig, and, like, your whole purpose right now is to make fun of TMZ. You are no longer Bad News Barrett. You are our punch to TMZ.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks, because when Barrett's on point, he's great.
I mean, he's great on mic. He knows how to work.
But when he's got something to work with, thing with Barrett, and it's like we were saying before, about like when you're enjoying something, whether you're not, when he's not in it, he's really not in it. And
he can really stink up a match.
Yeah.
But
I'm not necessarily stinking up. Like it'll still be technically great. Sorry, it'll still be technically great. It just won't have the energy behind it.
Right.
But there's no reason Ambrose doesn't walk out with that belt. This is where I'm gonna say that I want Ambrose, and if WWE doesn't do it, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Vince, it's time for your meds. Like, it's one of those.
I mean, obviously the crowd is behind Ambrose right now. So there's no reason for him not to have that title around his waist.
Yeah. I mean, he should by now have more than one mid-card title over and done with already under his waist.
Mm-hmm.
His run with the U.S. title was a little lackluster because he was still very much in the faction and they were doing nothing. Like Shield was great, don't get me wrong.
He only defended it twice.
Not even that. Shield, but did it ever feel like, until they went up against the Wyatts, and that was pretty legit, but like, it was just an endless stream of, okay, try these three guys. Try these three guys. Try these, and it was all the Cena-ish guys. It was Bryan, it was Ryback, it was Sheamus, it was Big Show, it was Cena himself. It was just a rotate of John Cena and the other John Cenas.
Yeah. The John Cena's is the John Cena of the John Cena.
A copy of a copy is not quite as sharp as the original.
Something like that.
Daniel Bryan. And
well, when you go there,
we're gonna get there. We're getting there. It's a long, hard road, and we're trudging through. One person that does not know about a long, hard road is Seth Rollins. Here's an interesting one, right? And this is where a lot of people are going to be surprised by my optimism here. Rusev versus Cena.
Let's hear it.
There's no wrong way they can go with this. Like, WWE, like, they booked themselves into a corner in a lot of matches. WWE's booked themselves into a spot here where I don't think they can do wrong. If Rusev wins, his popularity combined with the fact that people hate Cena, he'll be a superstar, like, overnight. If Cena wins, which, Cena wins LOL, he'll still make Rusev look great. You'll know for a fact that Rusev's going to have a match going into Mania. And Cena, the 15-time about to tie with Ric Flair, yada, 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 yada guy, the hood ornament of the company, carrying around the U.S. title, will bring it up. Yeah, as much as people think that, U.S. title is a bigger piss break than the Divas division, you cannot deny, even if you despise Cena, even if you have sniper rifles aimed at John Cena's house, you cannot deny Cena carrying around that U.S. title, even if it's only for a couple of weeks, will shoot that title up.
Just having John Cena against Rusev for the title boosts the title up.
And this is the other thing too. People that are tired of Cena. Cena is all dominating the main event scene, and it doesn't even make any sense. And why does he be there? He has no right to be there. Well, somebody else has taken that role now. Cena is in a mid-card feud with a new guy not that long out of NXT, fighting over the least valued belt in the company, other than the Divas division. You can't, as far as placement on the card, and people that hate Cena, if you want to really sort of celebrate the fall of Cena, which I know some people do, you can't get very much farther than fighting a newbie for a not very prestigious belt. And this is during WrestleMania season.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like Cena. My opinions of Cena, and you mentioned Cena-apocalypse, etc., those things haven't changed. Cena is still all those things, but he's been turned down, and he's all those things in the lower portion of the mid-card where it doesn't really bother anybody.
Yeah, and, I mean, he's going... the way I look at it is like this. He's going after the mid-card title, but he's going after a mid-card title that he actually helped bring up. Mm-hmm. It was his first title that he held in WWE.
I just don't want him to bring back... I know you mentioned it earlier. I don't want him to bring back the spinner belt, because then people will say, oh, look, it's typical John Cena silly stuff.
Yeah. The only reason why I wouldn't exactly mind it if he did bring it back was because it didn't look as terrible as the other one. But I think if he did, he would just do it like, hey, look what I got. Just a joke, not a actual...
See, the thing is, with the U.S. title, he was the only one that had to carry it. With the main event title, that became the actual title, which for a long period of time was like, even if somebody else was the champion, it was a constant reminder. It'd be like, hey guys, don't forget, Cena will be back to get this soon, it's his belt. Like, that was the message behind that, and I don't think WWE realized that until way too late.
Yeah, and then, even though they did try to run with it a little bit by changing it with the rated R and
then they took the idea of customizing, which Austin did really well, which The Rock did really well, and they made it a corny thing. When Miz just did the little tiny thing of turning the W upside down so that it was an M, that was clever. When they just put an Edge logo in there and it looks like they pulled it right off a T-shirt, that wasn't so great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want him to bring back the spinner belt. I wouldn't mind him holding the title, because if he's going to do that, if he's going to bounce around in the mid-card for a while, then that means that big fateful moment where everybody has, everybody sits at their computer screen and hangs themselves because now he's tied with Ric Flair. We're going to be pushing that off a little bit.
Yeah, because now at least he's holding a title that's not going to help him tie with Ric Flair.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're starting to mention it in commentary now when they talk about John Cena, so it's going to happen eventually. But we're sort of, for lack of a better term, postponing the inevitable.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's good enough for me right now. Like, I always said I never wanted Cena to, get injured or get fired or anything like that. Just downplay him. And that's what they've done. And they've made him aggressive. Like, because he's not in the main event scene, they've let him play with his character more. The outburst that we had from him on Raw tonight was, like, it was a brief flash. And I will say this is the briefest of flashes. But it's the most we've seen from Cena, like goofy, Fruity Pebbles Cena, to a more aggressive, more human, like I just want to kick somebody's ass Cena than we've seen in a long time.
It was a flash of his ruthless aggression time.
Yeah, it was ruthless aggression without the thug gimmick.
Exactly.
Because we don't need that back. People are saying, oh, why don't you go back to Doctor of Thugonomics? Because that was so... He brought that back for one night when he was fighting The Rock, and it was a joke.
And he doesn't need to go back to that because that little fad and stuff like that was happening in that time, it's over.
It's not happening now.
There's no need for it anymore.
Yeah.
But his time in the mid-card may help him develop something else because he has to fight his way up the ladder again, so to say. But it also gives time for newer talent like Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan to get up there and be main eventers instead of saying,
Bryan's
hey,
already
Cena's
there.
Here.
I'm going to say this when we get to the Bryan Roman thing, but he got handed 2 WrestleMania main events in one night. So the people that still say, oh, look at the up-and-coming, trooping along story of Daniel Bryan. No. Just no. I'm sorry. As much as I respect the guy's talent in the ring, he's fantastic in the ring. But, oh my God, he's had such a treacherous story, and he's struggled every step of the way, and he's almost there. He defeated 3 future main eventers in one night at WrestleMania last year. You were there.
Yeah.
He's almost there, Guapo.
I know.
He's almost there.
It's a little scary, but anyways. It's okay, Spaz. We're going to get through it.
So before I get on to the main event, that I'm not going to rant on too much because I do have that video coming up on Friday. Like I say, this one is a can't lose, really. But Rusev versus Cena, what are you pulling for to happen in this match?
Honestly, what I really want Rusev to do it, to beat Cena. However, my thinking of how they're going to try to pull this off and go with it, I think Cena's going to walk out with that title to maybe have a feud with Rusev, to where Rusev loses on Raw a few times and builds up a match against Cena where Cena beats him for the rematch, and then Rusev beats him on like the next Raw or whatever it is to build up for Mania.
I think people are going to be sitting at their speakers, at their headphones, at their monitors, whatever, and people are going to be picking their jaws up off the floor. I want Cena to win this. I want Cena to win this because this could hold a very important part at WrestleMania. WrestleMania, long and short, is usually the end of stories. You say WrestleMania is like the end of the wrestling year. So as we're finishing up feuds, usually the babyface wins in the end. So there's a lot of happy moments at WrestleMania. But there's always that 1 or 2 matches on the card where the asshole comes out on top. I want Cena to win in a good match at Fastlane, have it be that Rusev took Cena a bit lightly because he's a filthy American or whatever the hell he says. And then Rusev goes into Mania. I know I'm dreaming beyond dreams here, and steamrolls John Cena at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Definitely. And I just want to point this out at the moment. One of my friends has sent me a thing that said, including NXT, at this very moment, all titles are held by, all major titles are held by heels.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a thing.
Except for tag.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yep.
I just want to say, for the people that don't, what was I going to say? For the people that say that WWE treats their NXT stars like crap when they get to the main roster, let's look at who's in prominent spots on this show tonight.
Yep.
Wyatt.
Oh, wasn't he in NXT? Something by the name of Husky Harris?
Kidd.
Tyson Kidd. I believe he was a major role in NXT.
Paige.
Former NXT women's champion and now former and probably going to be new reigning WWE Divas champion.
Okay. If you consider both versions of NXT, Wade Barrett.
Yep, because he was the
winner of Season 1.
Well, he was the leader of Nexus.
And the winner of NXT Season 1.
Yep.
Rusev going up against Cena.
he had a very short time in NXT, but
Dominant
force in NXT, and now dominant force in the main roster.
Okay, and I'm going to say this once again. You have to consider both versions of NXT.
Yeah.
The main event is Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan was a massive part of NXT, now also a part of the Nexus.
He's just lucky Miz came along to mentor him like he did. Miz is such a philanthropist.
And if you want to count, you can also somewhat count Roman Reigns, even though he wasn't in NXT.
Yeah, he was.
He was. Yeah, he was at the very beginning.
No, if you look at the Shield, the only one that wasn't in NXT was Ambrose. He was the last one to come out of FCW.
Yeah.
Rollins was. I want to say this too. One of my favorite NXT matches, when they sort of rebranded themselves as the NXT we have now, when they first established the NXT Championship, one of the coolest matches I saw in NXT was the finals of that tournament, which was Seth Rollins versus Jinder Mahal. And if you consider that Jinder Mahal was doing 3MB at the time, it was surprising. It was a fucking phenomenal match.
Goes to show you the people that Vince likes to push.
Yeah, but it also goes to show you what guys that are making the best of a goofy situation can do.
Yeah.
Anyway, so speaking of goofy situations, let's talk about Bryan versus Roman.
Well,
I need medication before this match.
Roman, first I need to cock my fist.
And make it rain in this bitch. Okay, I have to point out the very obvious. Very, very obvious. Everybody says, when they talk about the Bryan situation, everybody says, oh, we're making the same mistake 2 years in a row. I will agree, but not in the way people want to think. The same mistake we're making 2 years in a row is going into WrestleMania. You've got the champion, the rightful challenger, and Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan 2 years in a row, it looks to be, is making the Royal Rumble completely irrelevant. And yes, people will say, St. Valentine's Day Massacre, and it's like, okay, take a look back at St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Did you really want Vince McMahon going for a title shot at WrestleMania?
Absolutely not.
And I mean, like, here's the thing, like, there was the thing with Ray defending his title shot against Orton and da-da-da-da-da, but let's be real, Ray wouldn't have gotten that title shot in the first place if it wasn't for Eddie. So yes, there's other situations where title shots at WrestleMania have been put on the line. I don't agree with any of them. The Vince McMahon thing, Vince McMahon never should have won the Rumble, so that's not an example as far as I'm concerned. Daniel Bryan, back-to-back 2 years in a row, is destroying the relevancy of the Rumble. And I know people are saying, oh, it's just, you know, it's good build, it's a good storyline, whatever. I'm a big fan of structure to a certain point. WWE structure says the winner of the Rumble gets the title shot at Mania.
Yep.
Whether you like it or not. No matter what you want to hashtag, no matter what you want to, who you want to block in what building, no matter if you want to get your Royal Rumble tickets refunded by Fandango in the parking lot, which was fucking ridiculous. This match shouldn't happen.
It shouldn't, because of the fact that, I mean, Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble. It's his shot. It's his shot to be going against Brock Lesnar in Mania.
If you want to make a case why Roman Reigns winning the Rumble was a bad move, okay, go make that case. I don't necessarily agree with you, but go make that case. That's fine. That's your opinion, whatever. But the thing is, dealing with current events, Roman Reigns is the Royal Rumble winner.
Yeah.
When, I don't watch football, but when whoever wins the Super Bowl, they don't go poll public opinion and be like, oh, well, they don't like that team. Let's have this match again. Let's have this game again. They don't put out the new Batman Superman movie with Ben Affleck as Batman, then poll the crowd, and if they don't like it, go shoot an entirely different movie with somebody else, Dane Cook or some bullshit. So you can go to the sports realm, or you can go to the entertainment realm. Either way, no comparison works.
Exactly.
No comparison works. And here's the thing, with this match, either Roman wins and rightfully goes on to what is rightfully his at WrestleMania, and the fans bitch and threaten the company and do all kinds of terroristic bullshit, or you give it to Daniel Bryan, the whole company as a whole ends up looking like bitches, and the Royal Rumble becomes irrelevant.
Basically what it has been.
Now, that all being said, I haven't liked Brian's booking. I haven't liked Brian's booking. Notice I'm saying, and Guapo, back me up on this, I'm just saying the booking.
Yeah.
Right? Not his talent. I'm not denying his talent in the slightest. Never once have I denied his talent in the slightest. The booking I haven't liked since Royal Rumble last year.
It's been bad.
And all that this year proves as well, on top of everything else, if you want to get a title shot in the WWE, there's two ways to do it. You bust your ass in the indies, you make it to NXT, you make some headway in NXT, eventually you come to the main roster. Have some great feuds, win some mid-card titles, maybe have a tag team match or two, a couple decent stories, and maybe you win the Rumble. Yeah. That's way number one.
You pay your dues.
Way number two to get a title shot in the WWE is get injured and come back before the Rumble. And I'm sorry, I don't care if it's Jeff Hardy. Like, everybody knows, Jeff Hardy is my boy. I don't care if it's Jeff Hardy. If Jeff Hardy walks into WWE tomorrow and gets handed a title shot, I'll love it. On one hand, on the Mark side, I will love it. But if anybody comes to me and says, you can't justify that, I'll say, you're absolutely right. I mean, I don't care that I can't justify it because I'm marking out, because it's my guy. 100%. Anybody that wants to do that, go ahead. But don't tell me, come at me and try to say that it's something other than you just marking out. Because you want to mark out, go mark out. Fantastic. If Brian had won the Rumble, mark out. Fantastic. Just don't come to me with X, Y, and Z bullshit reason that it actually makes sense. Because you've got Daniel Bryan, who is going to go fresh into a match against one guy, who, in theory, because it's the Rumble, beat 30.
Yeah.
It's when we used to have the Elimination Chamber match, why does one title match always feel better than the other? Because one match, the challenger beat 30 guys to get there. The other match, the challenger beat 5 guys to get there. It's simple as. That being said, I think the match is going to be, if what we saw on Raw this past week is any indication whatsoever, the match will be phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely, because the in-ring, Brian's gonna carry Reigns the entire match, because Reigns is not the best wrestler, but he's good.
You know what I'm going to say, and people are going to laugh at me, and I really don't care. You know who else wasn't the best wrestler? Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
You know who else can't pull off a bullshit, entirely unbelievable Hurricane Rana? Steve Austin.
And Austin has admitted that he was pretty stiff sometimes.
Exactly.
Or a lot of times.
Exactly. And you know what, though? Like, the one thing is, Roman Reigns has not had much experience in the main event scene. You don't get experience until somebody says, okay, give him a shot. Right. Some people work better with trial by fire. Some people strive in strenuous, first-time, unfamiliar waters. We don't know. We don't.
I think what this is going to do for Reigns is that if he comes out the victor in this and all this, is going to prove. Well, I want to say it's going to prove his worth to face Lesnar Mania, but it's going to give him somewhat of a stepping stone.
What bothers
me? Hey, look, I'm a main eventer, and I can do what I need to do.
What bothers me, and I know it shouldn't, because I should be able to just, watch things as a fan, but I mean, if you're in this community, you can't do that 100%. Even if Roman went out there and gave the performance of his life, won the match, went on to his proper spot at Mania, the Brian Marks or just the Roman haters or whatever demographic you want to talk about are just going to say, oh, well, he only looks that good because Brian carried him. People are saying he's only looking good.
He's never going to get the credit that's actually due to him.
Yeah. His improvement will be credited to Brian. Yeah. And I mean, like, as I said, is Brian a great talent? Absolutely. Is Brian a little more seasoned as far as technical ability than Roman? Absolutely. But they're two different kinds of wrestlers. And if Brian can help Roman along in some kind of way and help him improve, isn't that, like, behind the scenes, is WWE not all one team?
Definitely they are.
I mean, like, behind the scenes, does everybody not should everybody not want to help everybody feel better, or work better, look better, etc.?
They absolutely should, because when it's all said and done,
it's a team effort.
It's one company.
Like, it's like, okay, unspeakable amount of respect for CM Punk. The one thing that came out of the CM Punk interview that I hated was him telling the stories about, we have to make Roman look strong. And that became everybody's new catchphrase for a little while. I guess they're trying to make Roman look strong. Hashtag, don't forget, guys, hashtag make Roman look strong. Since when is it bad to make your opponent look good?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've heard guys like Shawn Michaels, I've heard guys like Ric Flair, whatever. You've got 2 jobs in a wrestling match. Protect your opponent and make your opponent look good. Because all things being equal, they're doing the same for you. And I'm not saying, Shawn Michaels said it, therefore it has to be real, but that's some pretty legit opinion there. Like, that's somebody that's been around the block a few times,
Somebody that's been around the block has worked guys who don't know what they're doing or have not the best ability and have done amazing matches with people who aren't at the same caliber or same worth that he is. And he has... I know I've watched quite a few HBK matches that are just amazing to watch because of the way he's moving and the way that he's... I'm not saying he was carrying the match by himself, but he made sure that every spot was followed into to make himself... Well, he wasn't making himself look good because there's no way you can make yourself look good in in any type of wrestling match because you need that person to play off of. So
you can hit the most perfect move in the world. If the other person across the ring from you doesn't look hurt, you look like shit.
Exactly.
And I mean, Shawn Michaels trained Daniel Bryan.
Yes.
So if any sort of morals are passed on through the lore of wrestling, shouldn't Daniel Bryan, in fact, be looking to make his opponent look strong?
Absolutely.
And I mean, like, another example, like, one of the absolute darlings of the WWE, and he deserves it every step of the way, Ziggler.
Yeah.
Ziggler does nothing but make everybody look good. Ziggler made Brodus Clay look good.
Yeah, he did.
Like, I don't understand. Like, this was said all sarcastically in the CM Punk podcast, and it became suddenly this bad thing. They're like, WWE wants Roman Reigns to look strong. WWE probably wants all, to various degrees, obviously. But, like, to various degrees, everybody needs to look strong. It's not like, okay, a certain portion of the demographic doesn't like Roman Reigns, so we don't have to make him look strong.
Well, and the whole purpose behind making him look strong, as you're saying, or making any of the people look strong, because when someone looks good, it's going to make one fan like that person, and because that one fan likes that person, you know what they're going to do? They're going to go buy merch. They're going to buy more tickets because they want to go see this person.
Yeah, and as much as we don't want to say that it's about the money, like, WWE is sure as hell in it for the money. And here's the thing, too. Here's another thing that Daniel Bryan's fans and followers and the Roman haters don't seem to grasp. We don't know who's going to win this match, right?
Correct.
It could be Bryan that wins this match. Now, if you make Roman Reigns look like a joke, and you win, you beat a joke.
Yeah.
If you go in there and make Roman Reigns look like an absolute fucking wrecking ball, and this is where kayfabe would usually, came in like a wrecking ball. I'll have to do that because he's not here. But, like, if you make Roman Reigns look like an absolute wrecking ball, and then beat him, you've done something. There's you building yourself for WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. Anyways, we're not talking about the match. We're talking about the YWC politics surrounding the match, which is really not what I wanted to do. But, honestly, and it's no hate on Bryan whatsoever, I hope Roman wins this. I hope Roman wins it, or I hope Bryan wins it. I hope the rumors of yet another WrestleMania triple threat match are not true. Because that's WWE sitting on the fence, and that is indeed WWE making the same mistake they made last year.
I want Roman to win just because, honestly, I don't think he did not need to put up his number one contendership from winning the Rumble. He didn't need to. because he won the Rumble. He should have went out the next time and said, "I won the Rumble. I don't need to."
And then the Authority would have forced him into it some kind of way. The story would have changed.
Yeah.
But the way they justified him even being in the conversation is so lazy, though.
Yeah.
There's like, he deserves a championship shot because he got injured and, not to be rude, took 3/4 of a year off.
Yeah.
That's not a... And then you went to the Rumble and lost fucking early. You know what? I used the sports analogy. I used the entertainment analogy. I'm going to use one more analogy for you.
Go for it.
You play video games?
Yeah, of course.
You remember Mario Brothers?
Quite, vividly, yeah.
You get to the castle, you gotta beat Bowser before you get laid, right?
Right.
You don't beat Bowser, you fail. You go back to the beginning of that level.
Correct.
You don't get like set on fire by the big fucking fire-breathing dragon that stole your girlfriend, and then have a bunch of people in the crowd say, "No, he tried real hard," and then have Bowser lie down and play dead so that you can go fucking get laid.
Right.
It's just like, there's no other place where this would be okay. Well, you lost, but you get the award anyway. You don't go to the Olympics and fall last in the bracket and still get a gold medal.
Mm-hmm.
It's... Anyways, I want Roman to win. I want Roman to show that he can get better. I'm not saying he's great, trust me. He's got a lot of work to do, but is that not the... And this is the other thing. Is it not the purpose of the Rumble to bring somebody new into the main event picture?
Exactly, because you need that fresh face in there, because it can't just be... Well, I can't say it can't just be Brock Lesnar, because we all know that Brock Lesnar is just waiting to hold up Vince McMahon for more money after his contract's over.
Yeah.
But you can't just have John Cena in the main event. You can't just have Daniel Bryan in the main event. You need a new face in the main event, because you need to have a stepping stone to say, hey, look, that guy's not going to be there 10 years down the road, or, well, say 5 years down the road. Yeah, John Cena may or may not be here in the next 5 years. Roman Reigns is young. He has potential to be that main event guy in the next 5 years. So
okay,
why not give him the...
Here's what I'm going to say, though.
...in the pedestal to go forward?
People that are still treating Daniel Bryan like he's a new talent, and that he's, quote-unquote, I'm using really tight air quotes here, relatively new to the title picture.
No.
Right?
He hasn't been.
But here's the thing. If you think back over the titles that he's won, the first one he won in a triangle situation, little tiny Daniel Bryan, and yes, sometimes size matters, he won it in a triangle situation with the Big Show and Mark Henry.
Yep.
There's just your physical overcoming story. Great. The next time he won the world title, first of all, he was gifted the title shot by John Cena with no qualifying match whatsoever. He went on, he beat the golden boy of the company.
Mm-hmm.
There you go, there's number 2. And number 3 was last year at WrestleMania, where, as I say, he was given 2 main events at WrestleMania. Not even John Cena gets that. And supposedly, with an injury that was pre-existing, that was then attacked by a hammer and a ring post. Like I say, 3 future Hall of Famers. Whether you like Evolution or not, they will go in the Hall of Fame one day. Triple H deserves him to be there individually. Randy Orton deserves to be there individually as well. Batista not so much, but definitely as part of Evolution at least. Mm-hmm. 3 future Hall of Famers in 2 WrestleMania 30 main events walked out with all the gold like it was fucking nothing.
Yep.
Please tell me, please, Guapo, you are much more level-headed than I am. I will give you that. That's why I wanted you on here. Please tell me in what universe Daniel Bryan is still, tight air quotes, relatively new to the title picture.
Well, you gotta see, when you really think about it, he's not. That's the thing.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he has been given title shots. That's the problem. But
that's the thing. He's been given them.
It's
the only one he earned was the one that when he cashed in Money in the Bank, because obviously he won the Money in the Bank match. The next one was gifted to him by John Cena. And yes, I understand that was a let's make John Cena look like a good guy moment.
It was also because John Cena's plowing his sister-in-law's
Eventually, there has to be a mixed tag match there.
Obviously.
Make Nikki look strong. all I want to see right now. This is my wish for WrestleMania. Somehow it becomes a thing.
John Cena and Nikki Bella versus...
No, Nikki Bella pins Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship.
after doing a fireman's carry or something like that.
Here it is. I'm only going to say it once. I promised you I would only say it once. Nikki Bella's Cena-purchased titties are immune to the Daniel Bryan silly kicks. Fucking yes. Okay, we've officially gone off script. So I want Roman, you want Roman. I don't see it happening. You see it happening?
I see Roman winning. I don't see the only possible way I see Daniel Bryan walking out winning is because they cave.
They cave. And the thing is, if Bryan doesn't win, Bryan's got other matches waiting in the wings. We see the history developing between him and Seth Rollins, which is fantastic. They could have a match at Mania for the briefcase. Also Ziggler.
Well, I would love to watch Ziggler versus Bryan, but Ziggler versus Rollins at Mania also would be amazing to watch.
How about this? Okay, Roman goes on to WrestleMania to fight Lesnar.
Right.
Bryan versus Ziggler versus Rollins for the briefcase, and whoever the winner is, because those guys are all popular, cashes in on Roman Reigns after he wins the title at the end of the night.
My vote is Ziggler.
So Ziggler cashes in on the brand new champ Roman Reigns, and everybody goes home happy?
And he turns heel again, yes.
Because here's what you do. That's what you could do with Daniel. Daniel Bryan has other options. Storyline-wise, what else do you do with Roman Reigns? Continue his feud with the Big Show.
I'm kind of tired of that.
I was very, very sarcastic there.
I know that, but I'm tired of watching that. I really am. But that's the problem, though. If you don't have Reigns with the title after Mania, I don't see where you put him because he's not a mid-card fighter anymore. And he's not in a faction. He can't tag. The only other person he can tag with would be Ambrose, and he has IC on the mind.
Yeah. What powerhouse heel is there in the company that Roman Reigns could... the only way I could do it is if Sting wasn't a factor, I could see Roman Reigns against Triple H.
Yeah, I could watch that.
If that was on the menu, then cool. Daniel Bryan go get squashed by Lesnar and win anyways because it's Daniel Bryan. But that's not on the menu. I could see, if Wyatt wasn't in place, I could see Roman Reigns versus The Undertaker. A lot of people would hate it, but whatever. If Undertaker wasn't on the menu at all, I could see Wyatt versus Roman. But there's nothing for Roman to do if he's not in the title picture.
The only place I see him possibly is, the only other place in the Mania matches would be him in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
Oh, man. So you won the Royal Rumble, legit, but that doesn't matter anymore, so we're going to put you in another Battle Royal.
Yeah, and you're going to win this one, everybody's still going to be pissed.
Oh, no. Here it is. Usos retain at Fastlane. WrestleMania is the Usos versus Roman Reigns and The Rock. And the whole YWC cries.
And everybody's like, okay, piss break.
No.
We wait for Rock to enter, then we go to the bathroom.
Then we make The Rock look strong.
Everyone, remember, make Rock look strong.
Somehow, I'm trying to figure out how you would do a combination rock bottom Superman punch. Hold him up in the rock bottom position and send him down in the rock bottom with the Superman punch.
Yeah, as Rock picks him up to do the bottom, he Superman punches him and Rock throws him to the ground.
The tag team title #1 contender match, Rock and Roman Reigns versus the Ascension.
I'd watch it.
That would be cool. Rock and Rome.
Rock and Rome. The only problem with that is we know Rock won't stay around for more than a few weeks.
So they'll never have to defend. Roman will be a champion forever.
He would be carrying around both titles like Miz.
Oh my god.
So that means Mizdow now turns into Miz Reigns.
Romiz Reigns. Romando.
Or what is it? Damien Romedow.
Okay, we're fantasy booking Roman Reigns into oblivion now, right?
Yeah, we are.
I think we've officially run out of things to talk about. Anyways, on the whole, it is a prolonged Raw without commercials. Let's be real.
Yeah.
But I am looking forward to it. I think there's a lot of great. I'm more curious about the stories coming out of this than I am about the matches for the most part. But we said that about Elimination Chamber for years, so that's not really anything different. Yeah. Anything else you want to say about the show before we sign off?
Well, it is ridiculous o'clock in the morning, so.
All right, so what we're going to do, because people have been listening for quite a while, if they're still listening, remind them one more time where they can find you, and then we'll get out of here.
Okay. Sorry, blank for a second there. Well, you can find me over at the Wrestle ReCap at the Black Cat Feline, where you can find myself, Guapo, and Kristen Black Cat Feline, and the Suave one, Suave.
So I'll put that in the box below, and you're on Twitter at Guapo _ something.
504.
5_6504. There we go. It's very tired in here. Anyways, guys, as for me, you guys know the drill. I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there. Talk down there. Start a conversation. Keep all of our conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later. But for right now, myself and Guapo are out of here. Bye, guys.
Like me.